Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to SteamWorld Build! This is a new survival city builder that I've actually been looking forward to. You can see it's got a very strong Western theme to it, but here's the catch. All quote-unquote living things on this planet, from the animals to the people to the dang tumbleweeds, are robots. Why? Don't totally know. That's a story we're going to uncover. Now, these little people here, they have an ambition, a dream of their own. They want to reach the stars, and this game is their story. So let's go ahead and start up a new game. There are 5 different maps that you can choose from. I believe all of them do have the same story, so it doesn't really matter too much which one you choose, aside from starting resources and layout. We'll go ahead and play in the Giddy Up Gorge. This is the classic choice, and we'll call this Gorgeton. Sure, why not? We're going to kick things off with a cutscene, which can introduce us to some of the wholesome robot characters, a little father and daughter and such, that are dreaming of reaching the stars. And they have this dream because they found a core that looks suspiciously like it's from the Portal games. But this thing is telling them that there are ancient technologies buried deep in this planet. If we were to delve for them, we can recover some old rocketry technology which would let us reach the stars. And thus our story begins. And welcome to our map. Okay, that's a tumbleweed. I want to click on that in a second. We have some little conversations between characters, introducing us to Jack Clutch Sprocket and Astrid Clutch Sprocket. And there's some sort of a weird noise and signal in the background. That'll all be important later on. For now, though, let's go ahead and get started building our city. First, though, we click on tumbleweeds. Boom. Thank you. We get some extra resources. Anyway, all right. So, we have our broken down train station here. Can't do much with this yet, though we will later on. First thing we need to do is be placing down some residential spaces for all of our workers. So if I click down here on this worker menu, it's going to bring up another sub-menu with all the things that are related to this class of robots. Because yes, robots have a class system. We're going to go ahead and place down some residential alongside some roads. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 should do fine. And then we have to get everything hooked up to the train station in some way or another. So we'll just go ahead and place down some roads like so. Now, the workers who are going to work here have needs, right? Right now, they only need a general store. Over time, right, as long as you met some of their satisfaction levels, some of their needs, it's going to start filling up with people and generate some taxes. The more you meet their needs, the larger the capacity is going to be within each of these houses, the more taxes you get, etc. So the first thing we should do is place down a general store, and I'll do that right here in range of all these houses, and boom, if I unpause the game, we should see now that the needs are going to start going up, the satisfaction's taken care of, and as you can see, the houses are starting to fill up. Of course, in this game, once you have met all of those needs, it's going to introduce some new needs, such as a service shop. So let's go ahead and take one of these and rotate that and place it, let's say, over here. And once again, we should see this starting to go up, and instead of having only 4 capacity, it's about to go up to 6 capacity. So again, the incentive is there. Build up as many of these needs as possible in order to get more money and also just more workers. You make each of these residential spaces more effective the more you actually meet their needs. Now, if I want to continue building things, we need materials. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over here and we're going to open up a new menu, and you can see this is expanding as we unlock new stuff. The lumber mill is something I'm going to need in order to get boards. Boards are used to actually build structures. If you click on this, it opens another submenu which shows you the entire production chain, which is very helpful. So we'll click on a forester, for example, and up over in this direction, we'll place down a forester that's going to cut down some trees. We'll place down a second one over here, actually. That's fine. And as before, we do need to get all of this hooked up to the train station, so let's get that like so. Perfect. And then I also want to get myself some lumber mills. I actually wouldn't mind having, let's say, a couple of these, so we'll do that. And also I want to have a warehouse so we can store all of the wood and the boards. Boom, we'll place that over here, and now we've created a little production chain. Now the problem is I don't have enough workers to go around for all of this, which means I need to place down some more of the worker residential. So we'll go ahead and place down a couple. These don't instantly populate with robots, but they build up pretty quickly as these satisfaction needs are met. So you can see our population has grown. You don't have to sit around waiting for babies to be born or anything. They're robots. That doesn't totally make sense. They just sort of appear, meet the needs, and they will come. Now, one really helpful menu you should be aware of in this game is going to be your administration window. Click on this thing, and it's actually going to tell you all of the different materials and what you are currently producing, what your demand is, etc. So right now, we're producing 8 wood. We actually need 8 wood in order to make planks. So it's telling me our balance is going up, but we have exactly as many logs as we need. Now, the funny thing is, once you factor in travel time, we actually want to be producing more logs than we are consuming, because otherwise, you can see here, we are waiting for resource delivery. So it says we're perfect, but we're not actually. We should go ahead and place down a third forester and have an excess instead. Do this, and we should actually be able to keep a lot of uptime on our lumber mills as long as we get some more workers, which I need to do anyway. So let's go ahead and place down a couple more of these buildings like so. Boom, boom, boom. And as the needs are met, there we go. We now have enough workers. Now, as you start building up your population, you're going to reach certain milestones, as we just did. This is going to unlock new stuff. For example, a cactus farm. Here, we can start getting cactus water, because that is a new need for all of our people. The cactus water is necessary because they're steampunk. And what do you do as far as like steam if you got heat but no water, right? So we need to start placing some of these farms down. I'll go ahead and place one, let's say, probably up over here is fine. Once you place one of these down, you need to place down some fields. So 1, 2, and 3 will be fine. Boom. That's all you're able to do is place down 3 fields. So now we're taking some of our workers and we're going to start producing some of the cactus water. Of course, that means I need even more people. So let's go ahead and place down some additional housing like so. Get that up there. There we go. And what's our next milestone? 120. This is where the game can start to feel a little bit on the slower side because you actually do need to be building up a pretty good amount of residential space before you reach the next production chain. So there's a fair bit of sitting around like, well, what do I do now? And the answer is you just keep building more stuff out, right? Just keep building out more of what you've already got. As far as resources, though, we have an excess of logs. It says that. We have none stored, so I know that this is actually exactly what we want it to be. We're making cactus water. We're making boards. All seems to be well, and everyone's needs are met, which means we have more workers than ever. We're up to 32 all of a sudden, and we're making 18 monies per house. That's not bad. Actually, I think one more residence is all we technically need, so let's go ahead and place that down. Of course, we need to get some pathing. Boom, boom, bada, bada, boom. And as soon as this thing builds up with 8 more workers, is that all we need? We are exactly going to be at 120. Wait for the water to arrive. Boom! There we go. New milestone has hit. Okay, this unlocks some new stuff. We've got rubies. We will worry about that later. Not super important this second. What's way more important is everything we've unlocked down here for the workers. We now need charcoal because we've got water, but if they're going to survive, they need heat to burn it and turn it into steam. So we need charcoal kilns. We can go ahead and place down a couple of these. I will place them probably over in this area next to where all the wood is being produced. That should be fine. So we'll get a couple of those like so. We'll get some more pathing along there. I'm going to end up needing some additional wood production, so let's get another forestry, let's say right there. Perfect, and we will reevaluate to make sure we've still got enough. One thing I'm concerned about is our warehouse not having enough people able to deliver stuff, but we'll keep an eye on that for the moment. And of course, we do need, you guessed it, more residences. Okay, so how are we doing on our administration? Still producing enough wood. Everything else is looking good. We're going to go into the green on our charcoal. Perfect. Next thing we should do is go ahead and repair our train station. Once you get up to 120 workers, this is possible for 4 boards. So if we click on this thing, it's going to get rebuilt, and we get introduced to a new character, the Trader. This guy's old and has been hiding for who knows how long here, and he knows things. You'll see. For now, though, we're going to use him to start trading for things at the train station, which should be arriving every few minutes. From here, we could sell off some excess goods. So, for example, if we're going to be producing too much cactus water, we could trade some water for some boards or just sell it for a little bit of money. You know, we could do something like that. Sell some extra charcoal, whatever it's going to be if we're overproducing. Also, if you have a lot of money and rubies, you can get some special items. These items can be very powerful because you can use them on certain buildings to boost their effectiveness. So, for example, if we had 150,000 money and 20 rubies, which is very expensive, we could place this on a warehouse, and instead of having only 1 worker transferring items, they would have 4 in total, because it's +3. So that could be very good. Can't afford that right now. Boost the production speed by 80% on a building, etc. And if you click over here on, let's say, how about one of these, you can see the item modifications I'm talking about are right here. We click on this menu to edit, and you'd be able to drop off some sort of an item. So those can be good. They're a little out of my reach right now, but they can be very helpful. In the meantime, how are we doing as far as needs? Everyone's looking fan-flippin-tastic. We're doing very well by our bots. Need to continue building out our population. That's fine. We can do all that. Keep that going. Reach the next milestone. I'm going to place down some additional lumber production because boards are going to be needed for pretty much the entirety of the game. This gets more and more complicated, though. You can already see we increased our production chains by a lot, and there's a whole lot more to worry about. In fact, pretty soon, once we get up to 200 workers, we're going to learn about the engineers, a whole new class of robot. Speaking of which, we've now reached the next milestone. Excellent. All right, with engineers, we'll be able to open up the mine shaft. So if we want to get some engineers, now that they are unlocked, we have one job. That is to upgrade some of the residential that is currently set aside for our workers. Careful about this, because what you're going to do is promote all these people, so you're going to suddenly start running low on workers in order to get some engineers. So we'll do this in a couple of spots, something like that. There we go. We've now reached another milestone. Less workers, but that is fine. The problem with engineers, of course, is they have a whole new set of needs, right? So they need moonshine, and they need a saloon. Of course, you can also find their needs under this sub-menu for their respective class, just like with the workers. So if I want to place down, let's say, a saloon over here, we could do that. Of course, I need 12 planks, and I don't have that many. Dang it. Here comes the train, by the way. Again, I have not much to do with said train. It's not very important to me right now, but every time it arrives, it's going to reset what items are available in the shop. So it's always worth popping over here periodically just to see if there's something really good that you could afford. Wait for a second, wait for a second, wait for a second. Where's the train? It should be arriving right about now. There we go. Rubies, service inhabitants, okay. Extra service bonuses and stuff. And then faster diggers. We're not going to worry about any of that right now, but it's cool. All right, let's go ahead and place down that all-important saloon, like so. Perfect. I like how it's turning into a nice little western town. Looks good. Engineers should be getting happier. Of course, that means even more engineers start to move in. And then for the moonshine, we need a few different things. I'm already producing some of the water our workers need, but we also need to get ourselves some sand and some glass blowing. Now, the sand, unfortunately, does have to be worked by engineers, so does the glass blowing. So if we want to get all this properly up and running and get a lot of engineers happy, we need to have enough engineers just to work both of these industries. Sand does need to be placed in certain areas. So, for example, there's maximum quote-unquote fertility over in this area. So I'll just go ahead and set up, let's say, right over here. That's fine. And now we'll start producing some of the sand. I'll need to get myself some more engineers if I want to be able to work any glass blowing, but by doing so, we are now low on workers, so we need to get back over here and keep placing down more residential. There we go. We've now got some glass. All the different styles of building are kind of fun, by the way. You know, you got little sifters and stuff just throwing things away. You got a giant glass ball like this and stuff, the giant chopping axes. I don't know. It's kind of a fun, like, sort of silly, whimsical steampunk style. I like it. Anyway, now that we have some water and we have some glass, we should be able to place down a moonshiner right over here. And as long as we get enough workers, which we're just slightly shy on, we're going to start producing some of that moonshine. And by meeting their needs, we'll have enough engineers to fulfill the rest of these jobs. So we could do nothing for a little bit, and this will kind of resolve itself. Here we go. Moonshine needs are fulfilled, and there we go. We've got maximum happiness for our engineers as long as we keep on top of this, and this very handy menu is telling us that, yes, right now we are completely good to go. Since we now have more than 18 engineers in our town, we can repair the mine shaft I was talking about earlier. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now, with the mine shaft unlocked, we've got a whole new aspect of the game we need to worry about. We can go down into the dusty caverns. Oh. So in these dusty caverns, you can see something that looks a little bit more like, I don't know, Dungeon Keeper kind of a thing. Like, we're going to actually be mining some areas out and building up a base underground. There are some other things to find here, though, including some items you can use for your modifications. So let's go ahead and click on this chest, for example. This thing's going to open up. We find some golden nuggets. All right, well, that's only so helpful. Let's go ahead and begin digging out some things. So gold nuggets, for example, we could clear out more spaces in this cavern, kind of open things up, see what we can get. Could also place down some infrastructure. This is important because this cavern can be unstable. And if you're not careful, it can collapse on you. So you need to be placing down some pillars. By clicking on this, we can see some little hatched areas over here, which are saying, these are the unstable zones. Placed on a pillar like this, and boom, we're now stable. At least that's going to be good. With a stabilized cavern, I do believe the game is going to send down a miner any second now, or we could just go ahead and start placing down some miners' quarters instead. It's going to cost me some money and some gold nuggets and some of the boards we're producing in the overworld. All right, let's go ahead and do this, for example. Boom. We now have enough space for at least 2 miners to move down. So over in the mine shaft, here comes one, and he's going to get to work and start digging this area out. So I'll let them get to work. In the meantime, always be checking back periodically, looking for areas that are unstable, like this one right here, for example. Make sure that nothing collapses, or you're going to be in trouble. We can use hotkeys 1 and 2, by the way, to jump between the different layers of the map, and I believe there are going to be more than just these 2 later on. This is just all I've got access to. Let's continue building things out up over here. We need more workers, we need more engineers specifically. So let's just pick something, like moonshine or something, I don't really care, and just go ahead and start building that out. Once you get to 70 engineers, we can start working on tools, and that's going to be very important. There we go. A few more upgrades, and now we've hit that milestone. So, let's see. A few things we need. One, we could get ourselves a surveyor office. I do need tools for that, and I've actually got some. This is basically just another happiness building, so we'll find a halfway decent spot to place it. Blah, 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 blah. I guess we'll do it over here. Sure. There we go. That's going to meet a new need for our people, so our engineers are going to come in larger droves. And then tools. Now, tools are going to require something called scrap. Scrap can only be found in the mines. So while our people continue working up over here, let's jump back down over here. Oh, we actually found a few more caverns. Okay. You can see our people are running around and trying to reinforce some of the walls. Not a very important aspect of the game, but it is something you can do. Click on some of these chests, let these things interacted with. We found some rubies. All right. Let's go ahead and mine out some of the resources and stuff over here. Some more gold nuggets. I do like getting some of those. And start working up over here, grab some of this, blah, blah, blah. But what we're looking for is going to be a scrap pile, and that means I need to dig around here for at least a little bit. Oh, there's a lot of wealth over here. Shame we have this giant chasm in the way. Don't worry, there are ways to get around that later, just not this second. Ah, we did find a scrap vein over here. Okay, that's very important. To get anything out of this, we need to access a whole new class of digging bots. That's going to be the prospector. So we need to set up some space for them. A nice big room would be preferable, but it doesn't really matter that much. So let's spend some gold nuggets and some money and stuff. Start getting this set up, let's say right over here. That could get me at least 2 prospector recruits. Down they come. These guys are able to mine the scrap, so we just simply hit the dig tool, and they're going to run over here, and they're going to dig what they can, and they'll bring it back. Did I find a second source? There is some over here, but I don't see a way of getting to it, at least yet. So for now, this is going to have to be okay. But with this scrap arriving, we're going to be able to start crafting tools back on the overworld. So yeah, now we're making 5 scrap per cycle, whatever exactly that's going to be. So let's go ahead and bounce back up over here. Train arrived. You get some tax services, more miners. Actually, yes, I will spend my money in rubies to grab this. So now we should be able to get even more miners down here. If I go ahead and toss this, boom. That means we can get up to 6 miners down here now. Perfect. Anyway, that all being aside, let's go ahead and get ourselves a tool maker since the scrap should be arriving up top. I'm going to go ahead and place down another warehouse over right here. I guess will be fine, and then we'll place down the tool maker nearby. I don't know if it matters as far as like where the materials are being delivered from the mine shaft. It may not matter at all, but I'll do this anyway. All right, so now we're making tools. Now with the tools, we can do a few things. There's going to be a lot of different construction efforts that are going to require some of those. We also can place down paved roads. You can imagine this means that people are going to be able to walk faster, which is good for transporting goods. It also extends the reach of your service buildings. So if your residential area is getting too far away from, let's say, your saloon, no problem. Just build out some paved roads, and it's going to reach a lot further. Of course, this does take tools to do this, so you don't want to be doing this all willy-nilly. But again, I do think that trying to boost up the speed of delivering some of my materials is probably worthwhile. It's fine, though. We've unlocked the next milestone. That's the important thing. This unlocks a lot of other important stuff. Pickaxe makers are one of them. Take some more scrap found in the mines, plus some forestry, we can start making pickaxes, which we can use to dig through sandstone. We haven't been able to do that up to this point, so I would like to be able to do that. Go ahead and place you over here, I guess. Doesn't really matter all that much. How are we looking as far as things like wood production? We're a little bit lower than we were, but otherwise okay. We're gonna need some more stuff to make our engineers happy going forward, though. They now want some spare parts. I guess healthcare is still a thing, even for robots. Right. Well, in order to get those, that's going to be a bit more complicated. You need to get some ironium. Ironium is a resource we're going to be able to find down in the mines. We can use it to make sheet metal, or we can use it to make some spare parts. But we need the pickaxes in order to be able to get ironium anyway, which is why we had to do this. So I've got this up and running at least, so that's at least looking good. Train station just arrived. Anything else that jumps out? Yeah, I actually would like to go ahead and get myself the ability to deliver more stuff at the warehouse, especially here where we're always getting overwhelmed. So now we have extra simultaneous deliveries able to be done. That means that we should have a much stronger logistical system over this direction. Let's go back into the mine and take a look at what's going on over here. Now that we have pickaxes, we need to start exploring for more stuff. For example, there's more gold and some tools and stuff over here. I think I see some ironium. I can't get to this vein, though. It's too far away. It's across a chasm. We can unlock this area, though. We get another chest, so I'll go ahead and grab some items. Okay, we find some rubies. No modifications. That's fine, though. Always hard to find the rubies, so I'm happy to see them. What else could be down here that I'm missing? Well, we do have the ability to start placing down some mechanic quarters now. This is another class of robot that is able to live down here in the mines. Do I want to go ahead and start placing them right now? I guess we could. I'll set up a large enough room to go ahead and just have at least a couple of recruits down over here. So what do mechanics do? Well, they operate machinery. If we take a look at some facilities over here, we now have a workshop available, another room that we can place down. Let's say over here, I only need to have like 2 extractor slots for now, so this will be fine. The mechanics work this. Once you have these, you can start placing down some machines, like a scrap extractor. This is a way of extracting the scrap a lot faster from some of these scrap veins, so if I set this up over here, for example, it's going to cost me some tools and some money, but some mechanics are going to run over this direction. They're going to set this thing up, and now we can start producing scrap a bit faster. I'll do this at both of these locations. I can't because I set something right here. Gosh dang it. Hang on. Remove this. Yes, thank you. Understood. Appreciate it. Mwah. And now we'll go ahead and set up another scrap extractor right there. There we go. The machines are up and running, and now they're going to start producing the scrap. The prospectors just have to run over here and grab it much, much faster. More scrap means more tools, means lots of good stuff. Huh. I actually don't think there is a source of ironium nearby. Well, that's a problem, but it's one we can get over. What we have to do now is work our way to getting the bridge unlocked. That needs 200 engineers. If I can do that, I'll be able to cross this chasm, and that's how I'll get to some ironium over here. So, all right, let's go back to the overworld and see how we can continue expanding our population. There we go. That's the milestone I was looking for. All right, we unlocked some new stuff. Water purifiers, wash services, burgermeisters. Yeah, our engineers now have a lot of demands that we are no longer meeting, but that's fine. That's fine. Let's go ahead and hop back into the mine. And over here, let's go ahead and place those bridges. We need sheet metal. Dang it. Wait, that is actually legitimately a problem. Because if I can't get to any of this ironium, I can't get sheet metal. If I can't get sheet metal, I can't get bridges. If I can't do that, there's nowhere for me to go. All right, hang on. New plan. Let's pop back up over here. I wish the train was coming back, but all right. Can we maybe trade for some sheet metal or just some ironium? Yeah, it's going to cost me about the same regardless, so okay, fair enough. Let's trade some extra moonshine for some sheet metal. I need, like 6. There is something else I want to draw attention to, by the way, in some of these items. You might have noticed that some of these seem combat-oriented. Guards, taunt enemies. Yeah, that's a thing we haven't unlocked yet, but that is a thing we're going to have to worry about. It seems all peaceful now, right? Like, there's nothing to worry about. No one can die. They can only be unhappy. But no. Things can get pretty bad. Here comes the train. And waiting for the trade to go through so we can get our sheet metal. Thank you. All right. Now that we're down over here, let's go ahead and build out those bridges. Boom! There we go. Problem solved. All right, with that taken care of, now we can start digging out some ironium. Boom, we're going to have a source. Not an amazing source, mind you, but a source nonetheless. We also need to get things like some water up and running. We had talked about maybe getting some water purifiers. You saw that earlier as a new thing. That is going to be a machine, which means down over here, we need to expand out the workshop a bit more, which is why I've been clearing out so much space, so we'll do that. Then we can get a dirty water extractor, place that over here as soon as they clear away some of the rubble. Also, we need more sheet metal. Well, that's fine. We'll worry about that in a minute. Now, over this direction, you may notice there was this big kind of red cable, right? And this is a door that is currently locked. But now that we've exposed this by following the cable, we can pull the lever, and it's going to send a signal and unlock the door. So let's mine through this area real quick and see what we just found for ourselves. The sand falls, and boom, we have this big empty area. Also, a rocket part. Use the dig tool to start excavating the rocket parts. Fine, we've got 6 miners, this should be fine. We're going to send all 6 over here. And as you might have already guessed, a big part of this game is going to come down to, can you get all of the rocket parts in order to reassemble the rocket and get off of this planet? That is the goal. Okay, let's go ahead and click on this. We can claim it. Perfect. Haul it up to the city. Prepare for installation. The first of many parts. Now, here's the thing you need to be worried about. Mr. Trader's like, when it shakes, they hear it. We weren't ready last time. Ready for what? Who's coming for us? Uh-oh. See, and now the signal is possessing little Astrid. The old signal that is going across this entire planet. 6 parts need to be built up for the escape vessel. Okay. Anyway, all those rocket parts get sent over to this little permanent structure here, the Astrodome, off in the distance, far, far away from the rest of my town. 6 parts, you say? 6! That's going to take a while to find. Well, we have unlocked a new milestone. A bunch more workers have just become available, or engineers, I should say, now that we are producing the spare parts they're looking for. Which means we've unlocked the third class of robots, the Aristobots. You can now start boosting up their residential if I've got plastic as well as sheet metal. Yeah. This is just starting to get increasingly complicated, isn't it? Oh, you thought this was a nice little simple game with only like 2 things to build. No. Look how quickly it's been building out. So this is one thing I think the game is really good at, is gradually introducing you to new stuff. Keeps you interested, keeps you on your toes. That's something else we haven't done before. I apparently need to get myself some cattle farms. This, unfortunately, is going to take some of my ironium and start converting it into beef. Because, you know, that makes sense. You feed your robot cattle some metal, and they spit out robot beef. Sure. It's necessary, though, because I want to get myself a Burgermeister, which takes some ironium and charcoal, gets all that, turns that into Burgermeisters. And there we go. We'll have the ability to go ahead and start making ourselves some delicious robot food. Of course, now I'm running low on some resources, so we have to take a look at things like this again. Hold on. Need to get our charcoal and stuff back up and running, and of course that means we need to make sure we still have enough workers to go around. At least now we can get ourselves an ironium extractor. This is going to speed things up pretty nicely. Let's go ahead and place one over there and another one over here. There we go. Anyway, let's go ahead and get some of those Aristobots up and running. Boom, boom. We have just enough plastics to make some of this work. Not much more than that, though. Polymerization plants. Yeah, find some plastishrooms? Plastic mushrooms, all right, in the mines. That's fine. And there's also a waxing shop, because, of course, our Aristobots need to look oh so very fancy. Ooh, I have found another lever, though. On that sucker, we need 2 of them. 2 levers. Oh, there's a red wire that goes out here somewhere. Right, let's see if we can find that. I doubt it, but we can try. Oh gosh, it's across this absolutely ginormous chasm. Of course it is. Good thing I have enough materials to actually do something with that. We'll have to dig these areas out, work our way over here. There's the lever way out here. Good lord. This is about as far away from the base as it gets. All right, more ironium though. Another warehouse expansion. Pull the lever, Kronk! And we will see what happens once this thing gets opened up. I'm curious what we're about to discover. Maybe some plastishrooms? No, another cavern leading to another cavern. Okay. However, there is another one of these rocket parts over here. And then what is this? Another broken mine shaft. Oh my, we can dive even deeper into the planet. And since we should have just about enough sheet metal, let's go ahead and repair that broken mine shaft. And guess what that does, ladies and gentlemen? It opens up the next map. Here we are, the Marshy Ruins. There's going to be all sorts of wonderful things down here, but we have to set up a whole new round of miners and prospectors and so on. Fertile soil. I'll bet you we can grow some mushrooms down here. Yes, we can. All right, there we are, Plentishroom Farm. So this is how we're going to be able to make use of our Aristobots now. Beautiful. But I do think this is a good place for us to end this video, so you have a pretty good idea how this is going to work. The story is charming and pretty fun. The idea of all the robots in this weird, like, steampunk universe is kind of a unique, novel idea. So I think this game actually is pretty fun. It does have, of course, you know, the issue where, like, there isn't a huge sense of threat in the early game. It can kind of feel like it drags on a little bit as you just build up population for the heck of it. But I'd say overall it does a really good job of introducing new resources and production chains to you. It feels like a pretty okay pace. So it's really not that bad. And we already can tell there are going to be threats. There are going to be risks. We already know the previous civilization didn't make it. Something came for them. Something's going to come for us too. So yeah, just because it seems peaceful now doesn't mean it's always going to be. Be aware of that. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found this video entertaining and informative in some way. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.